Have you ever wondered why it's so easy to care for others, but so hard to care for yourself? Why do we say kind words to friends, but hurt ourselves with our own thoughts? Why is it that the person in the mirror often feels like the hardest one to love? Imagine a small child who falls while learning to walk. Do we scold the child or offer a helping hand with a smile? Most of us would gently lift the child and encourage them. But when we make mistakes as adults, we don't treat ourselves the same way. We criticize, we blame, we forget that we, too, deserve kindness. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, the space where deep truths are made simple. If you're here, it's not by accident, it's a sign. You're ready to learn to love yourself again, step by step. But before we go ahead, there's something you need to know. There's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If this message touches even a small part of you, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us reach more hearts like yours. And it only takes a second, so why wait? In this journey, we're going to explore the wisdom of Buddhism, not through complex words, but through simple truths. Buddhism teaches that all beings want happiness, and that includes you. It reminds us that self-love isn't pride, it's peace. You don't have to become someone else to be worthy of love. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to remember who you are, beyond the noise, beyond the pain, beyond the roles you play every day. This video is not about motivation that fades in a day. It's about changing the way you see yourself forever. Not with effort, but with awareness. Slowly, gently, kindly. Let's begin the journey of returning home to the one person you've been ignoring for too long. You. Breaking the cycle of self-neglect. Sit down quietly. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, gently. Now tell me, why do you always come last to your own life? You wake up, and your first thoughts are about others. What they need, what they expect, what they might say. Not once do you ask, what do I need today? This is how the cycle of self-neglect begins, silently, almost invisibly. You're always there for others, like a tree giving shade in summer and standing strong in storms. But when was the last time someone asked how you are? And more importantly, when was the last time you asked? This is the suffering that hides behind smiles. This is the pain that sits behind busy schedules. In Buddhism, we say suffering often begins not with what others do to us, but with what we do to ourselves by forgetting ourselves. The Buddha never said to ignore others. He simply said, you too are worthy of your own love. This is not selfishness. It is balance. Have you noticed? When you're tired, you keep going. When you're sad, you hide it. When you're hurt, you still show up. But if a friend felt even half of that pain, you would stop the world to comfort them. So why do you treat yourself differently? It is not weakness to rest. It is not wrong to say no. It is not selfish to care for yourself. These are not acts of rebellion. They are signs of wisdom. Every time you ignore your own needs, a small part of your spirit dims. And over time, that dullness becomes normal. You forget what it feels like to shine. You think that others will value you more if you give everything away. But they don't. Even if they do, it comes at a cost. Your peace, your health, your joy. True giving doesn't come from emptiness. It comes from overflow. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill your cup first. Fill it with rest, with silence, with forgiveness, with care. The Buddha's path is called the middle way. Not extreme service, not extreme isolation, but balance. In this balance, we learn to pause, to check in, to feel. Ask yourself right now, how am I? Really? Listen to the answer without rushing to fix it. Just listen. Zen is not about doing more. It's about being more aware of what you're already doing. In noticing, is it hurting you or helping you? You're not a machine. You're a living being. You're allowed to breathe, to make mistakes, to not always be strong. One simple act can break the chain of neglect. A slow cup of tea without distractions. A few minutes of sitting in the sun. A walk with no destination. These small moments speak loudly to your spirit. I see you. I haven't forgotten you. Sometimes the most important thing is not another task, but a gentle word to yourself. You're doing your best, and that is enough. In Zen, we say, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The difference is in the awareness, the kindness, the breath between each act. So continue your life. Care for others, yes. But now care for yourself too. Check how you feel before saying yes. Ask yourself, will this bring peace or will it bring pressure? You do not need permission to rest. You only need to remember that you matter. Let today be the day you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You are the one. You always were. You just forgot. When a lotus blooms, it does not ask if the pond is watching. It simply opens because that is its nature. Let yourself bloom again. And remember, breaking the cycle of self-neglect doesn't require a big change. It starts with one honest moment, one kind decision, one breath taken for you. Breathe in and breathe out. You're coming back to yourself now. And that's the first step to loving yourself again. Sit down quietly. Just be still. Can you feel it? That little voice inside that often says, I am not good enough, I always fail, or no one truly loves me. It comes without warning, even when things are going well. That voice doesn't belong to you, it was planted. And today we begin the journey of understanding where it came from. Long ago, before you could even speak, your mind was pure, like a clear pond, undisturbed. You didn't know shame. You didn't hate yourself. You simply were, breathing, smiling, being. But slowly, the world poured things into you. Expectations, comparisons, judgments. And without knowing it, your pond became muddy. When you were told, don't cry, be strong, you started hiding your pain. When someone laughed at your mistake, you started fearing failure. When you were ignored or rejected, you began to question your worth. Layer by layer, the mind absorbed these experiences. And one day, without realizing it, the self you once accepted fully became a stranger. Buddhism doesn't say, run from this pain. It says, look at it with open eyes. What we fear inside us is not a monster. It's just a forgotten memory that never got love. When you hate yourself, you're not seeing yourself clearly. You're seeing the image the world put on you. And that image is not real. Just like clouds pass over the sun, thoughts pass through your mind. But the sun is still there, untouched, unchanged, shining. Self-hatred grows in ignorance. It feeds on unawareness. It survives when we believe every harsh thought as if it were truth. But here is the truth. Thoughts are not facts. Just because you think you're broken doesn't mean you are broken. The Buddha taught that the root of suffering is ignorance, not knowing the nature of reality. In the same way, the root of self-hatred is not knowing the truth of who you are. You are not your past. You are not your wounds. You are not the voices that once hurt you. You are the awareness watching all of it. Now take a breath. Can you observe your own thoughts like clouds in the sky? Don't fight them. Don't push them away. Just watch. This is the first step in understanding the roots of self-hatred. Not reacting, just watching. One day, someone might have said something cruel to you, and your young heart didn't know how to protect itself. So, it took those words and made them its own. I'm not worthy. I don't matter. I'm always a problem. But what if those words weren't true at all? What if they were simply unskillful words from someone who didn't understand their own pain? You see, pain is passed from person to person like a flame. But you can stop it. You don't have to carry what isn't yours anymore. Put it down. Let go. In Buddhist practice, we learn to name these inner voices: anger, shame, fear, regret. We don't curse them. We don't run from them. We bow to them. We say, I see you, old pain. You came to protect me, but I don't need you anymore. And slowly, they dissolve like salt in warm water. Do not think that self-love is pretending everything is okay. True love of self means you sit beside your hurt and say, I will not leave you, even when it screams, even when it doubts, even when it shakes. You stay. That's what the Buddha did under the Bodhi tree. He didn't escape his suffering. He faced every doubt, every fear, every demon of the mind with calm presence. And in doing so, he became free. The same freedom is possible for you, not by fixing yourself, but by understanding that you were never broken. You were only misled by the lies the world told you, and that you kept repeating. When you feel that you're unworthy of love, pause and ask, who told me that? And why did I believe them? Trace it back. See the root. and gently say, "This ends with me." Self-hatred often hides under habits, comparing, complaining, criticizing. But underneath, it's just a cry for love that was never answered. Now, you have the power to answer it. You don't need anyone else to do it for you. You could be the one to say, "I see you, and I still love you." This isn't easy, but it is simple. The more you watch the mind without judgment, the more the roots of self-hatred start to loosen. You begin to see that those thoughts were never you. They were like graffiti on a wall, loud, messy, and not yours to begin with. You are the wall, not the paint. There's a story in Zen. A student asked the master, "How do I get rid of the darkness inside me?" The master replied, "You do not get rid of darkness. You turn on the light. That light is awareness. That light is compassion. That light is you." So if your mind tells you today, you are not enough, don't argue. Just smile gently and say, "Thank you for your opinion," and then return to the truth. You were born worthy. You are still worthy. Nothing anyone said or did can take that away. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. And wholeness includes your sadness, your fear, your shame. Bring them home. Hold them. Love them. And they will stop hurting you. This is the way of the Buddha, not a path of escape, but of deep return. Return to the self before it was wounded. Return to the heart before it forgot how to beat gently for itself. The roots of self-hatred are only deep because we've fed them for years. But now you can plant something new. Plant patience. Plant truth. Plant kindness. Water it every day, not with force but with stillness. And slowly, the garden of your mind will begin to change. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, honestly. Just like the sun doesn't force the flower to bloom, you don't have to force healing. Just give it light and time. And never forget, the one who sees their pain with gentle eyes is already loving themselves again. You are here now, sitting, breathing, reading. Maybe your heart is a little tired. Maybe your mind is a little heavy. That is okay. In this moment, you are safe. And in this moment, I want to speak to you about something that can quietly change your life: compassion. Not the kind of compassion you give to others, but the kind you have forgotten to give to yourself. You see, most people think compassion is something we offer outward, to family, to friends, even to strangers. But rarely do we turn that same soft gaze toward ourselves. Why is that? Why is it so difficult to treat ourselves gently? A man once came to me and said, "Master, I cannot love myself." I asked him, "Would you speak to a wounded friend the way you speak to yourself?" He looked down, and tears formed in his eyes. "No, master," he said, "never. That man is not alone. Most of us are like him. We carry pain and speak to ourselves with harshness instead of healing." In Buddhism, we say that compassion is like water. It flows, it softens, it nourishes. But if the soil is dry and cracked, water must soak it slowly. You are that soil, and your compassion must begin with you. Look at your own life. How many times have you forgiven others quickly, but held your own mistakes like heavy stones in your pocket? You say things like, "I should have known better," or "I always mess things up." These words are weapons, and you turn them inward again and again. Stop for a moment and place your hand over your heart. Feel that beat. That is life. That is existence. That is proof that you are here, living, breathing, trying. You are not your worst moment. You are not your lowest thought. You are something much deeper than that. Self-love is not about becoming someone else. It is about unwrapping all that you are not and seeing the beauty that remains. The beauty that was always there. One day, I was walking through the woods. I saw a small tree growing at the edge of a cliff. It was bent, twisted, scarred by wind and sun, but it still grew, still reached for the sky. I smiled and said, "Even this tree knows how to live." Like that tree, you have bent and broken in places, but you are still here. And that is something to bow to. You do not need to heal everything today. You only need to stop hurting yourself further. When you hear the voice in your head that says, "I am not enough," speak back gently. That is just an old story. I don't believe it anymore. Compassion is not a feeling. It is a practice. You must choose it again and again, especially when you feel undeserving. That is when you need it the most. Sometimes we think self-compassion is weak, We believe that being hard on ourselves makes us strong, but Buddhism teaches otherwise. The strongest person is the one who dares to be soft, with themselves, with others, with life. Do not wait for others to love you, to believe you are worthy. Begin now. Begin with yourself. Pour a cup of tea and sit in silence. Watch your breath. Be with yourself the way a mother sits beside a child in pain, without judgment, just presence. You might feel uncomfortable at first. That's okay. You're not used to being your own friend. You spent years being your own critic. It will take time. Be patient. There is a small chant we say in Zen when the heart is heavy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. Repeat this, not just once, but every day. Speak it aloud or silently. It plants seeds in your mind, seeds of softness. You may still fail. You may still fall. But when you do, try not to push yourself down further. Instead say, even this is part of the path. And stand up slowly. You will begin to notice something. Over time, your anger will cool. Your blame will fade. Your shame will loosen its grip. Why? Because you're not feeding it anymore. You are watering compassion instead. Some people think self-love means being selfish. But that is not true. Real love for yourself only makes you more generous, not less. When your cup is full, you can pour into others without resentment. When your heart is kind to you, it becomes naturally kind to the world. When the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, he saw clearly that all beings suffer. He saw that no one is free from pain. But he also saw that compassion is the medicine, not just for others, but for yourself. You don't need to become a monk to practice this. You don't need to chant in temples or shave your head. You only need to pause, breathe, and speak kindly to yourself in the quiet moments. Say things like, I'm doing my best. I deserve to rest. I'm still growing, and that is okay. These are not lies. These are truths you've forgotten. My role is only to remind you. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not lost. You are returning. Every act of compassion you give yourself is a step back toward your own heart. Even now, you might be doubting these words. That's fine. Let them sit inside you like sunlight through a window. Don't force anything. Just let them warm you. There's no right way to love yourself. There's only your way. And it starts with the small things. A breath. A pause. A whisper of gentleness instead of judgment. Let this part of the journey be a soft beginning. You don't need to climb a mountain today. You just need to rest your heart in your own hands and say, I'm here now. That's enough. That's always been enough. Releasing the illusion of perfection. Sit with me for a while. Take a deep breath. Let go. You have been holding too tightly to something that was never real to begin with. You may not have noticed it. It hides itself well. It pretends to help you. It even whispers, I only want the best for you. But in truth, it makes your heart heavy, your mind restless, and your smile fade. This thing is called perfection. Ah yes, perfection. That voice that says, you're not enough yet. The pressure that tells you, you must fix yourself first. The fear that says, if you don't get it right, no one will love you. Have you heard it? Of course you have. We all have. But let me tell you something very gently. Perfection is not real. It is only a picture we carry in the mind. A picture painted by others. A picture painted by fear. It is not who you are. It is not who you need to become. Even the moon has spots on its face. And yet, when you look at it in the night sky, don't you still feel awe? Even the flower that blooms is not always even, not always symmetrical. But when you pass by it, don't you still feel its beauty? Then why do you think you must be flawless to be loved? In the teachings of a Buddha, there is no need for perfection. There is only the path of practice, of effort, of awakening. The Buddha never said, be perfect. He said, be aware, see what is clearly, see where suffering comes from, and gently walk away from it. Many people suffer because they try too hard to be the person they think they should be. They wear masks. They hide their pain. They smile when they want to cry. But the path of truth is not a performance. It is not about acting strong. It is about being real. Let me tell you a story. There was once a monk who spilled tea in front of the master. The young monk became afraid. He quickly tried to clean the spot and bowed his head in shame. He said, I'm sorry, master. I made a mistake. But the old master only laughed and said, "You made tea. The table drank. No me stuck." Can you see what this means? Not everything needs to be perfect to be accepted. Not everything needs to be controlled. The need for perfection is the root of deep self-judgment. It makes you hard on yourself. And when you are hard on yourself, it becomes difficult to love yourself. You say things like, "I'll love myself when I lose weight. I'll be proud of myself when I succeed. I'll rest when I've done everything right." But let me ask you, when does that day come? Most people spend their whole life chasing that day, but it never arrives. Why? Because perfection has no end. It keeps moving the goalpost. And that is how it keeps you trapped. You are not a machine. You are not a statue to be carved into shape. You are a living, breathing being. You are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to fall and rise. You are allowed to be messy. That's not failure. That's life. The lotus flower blooms in the mud, not in a crystal vase, not on a perfect white floor, in the mud. So why are you ashamed of your mud? Why do you think your mistakes make you unworthy? Every scar you carry is part of your story. Every bruise on your heart shows that you tried. You felt. You cared. You lived. There's nothing shameful about that. When we stop chasing perfection, we begin to find peace. Peace in the small things. Peace in the silence. Peace in being okay with not having all the answers. Peace in being enough, just as we are. Buddhism teaches the beauty of impermanence, that nothing stays the same. The clouds pass. The seasons shift. Your emotions rise and fall like waves. And you too are always changing. So don't fixate on being perfect. Focus on being present. That's where real love grows. In the now, in the breath, in the gentle moments where you accept yourself, flaws and all. There's a Zen saying, when you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. But whatever you do, don't wobble. It doesn't mean don't make mistakes. It means do one thing at a time and do it with your whole heart. Even if it's not perfect, it is complete in that moment. Loving yourself is not about making yourself better. It's about removing the idea that you were ever broken. You don't need fixing. You need freeing. Free yourself from expectations. Free yourself from that voice that always says, not good enough. Free yourself from the prison of perfection. And then what happens? You start smiling more. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer waiting for it to be. You start resting. Not because everything is done, but because you no longer measure your worth by your productivity. You start loving, not just others, but yourself. Because finally, you see that you are not a mistake. You are a miracle. A walking, breathing, healing miracle. So, take one more breath with me. Let go of the image in your mind, the one that tells you how you should look, how you should act, what you should have achieved by now. Come back to the present moment. Come back to yourself. You are not perfect, but you are real. And real is beautiful. The mirror of mindfulness, seeing yourself clearly. The old Zen master sat in silence, watching the stillness of the pond before him. A student asked, "Master, why do I keep forgetting to love myself?" The master smiled and replied, "Because you keep forgetting to see yourself. And this is the great problem. People do not truly see themselves. They see their mistakes. They see their past. They see what others say about them. But they rarely see what is really there. To love yourself again, you must first learn to see yourself clearly. Not through the eyes of judgment. Not through the fog of regret. But through the lens of mindfulness, calm, open, and honest. Mindfulness is like a mirror. It shows things as they are. No dikirashin, no dinayid, no drama. Just truth. The mirror doesn't argue with you. It doesn't say you are good or bad. It simply reflects. And in that reflection, you begin to understand who you truly are. Not the voice in your head, not the roles you play, but the awareness behind it all. When you sit quietly and breathe, you begin to notice things. You notice how your shoulders are always tense. You notice how thoughts rise and fall like waves. You notice how harsh your inner voice has become. And slowly, gently, you begin to question that voice. Why am I always rushing? Why do I speak to myself in this way? Where did I learn to be so hard on myself? This is the beginning of returning, not to the past, but to presence. Buddhism teaches that suffering begins when we lose touch with the present moment. And when we return to it, healing begins. When a mind is still, it reflects the truth like water reflects the moon. That reflection doesn't lie. It shows the scars, yes, but also the beauty, the kindness, the longing for peace. Seeing yourself clearly means dropping all the false labels. I am a failure. I'm not enough. I am broken. These are not your truths. These are stories built from pain, fear, and repetition. The Buddha taught that the self is not fixed. It is not a stone. It is like a river, always moving, always changing. What you were yesterday is not what you are today. So why carry yesterday's shame? Why believe in the old names you were given in moments of pain? Mindfulness helps you see that the thoughts in your head are not always true. They're just thoughts, passing clouds in the vast sky of your awareness. The Zen master once said, "When you hear the river, just hear the river." That means stop trying to turn every moment into a judgment. Just observe. Just be. This is how you begin to meet yourself again. When you sit quietly with yourself, without distraction, without trying to escape, that's when the real seeing begins. It is not easy at first. Many people avoid silence because in silence, the truth becomes loud. But don't be afraid of what you find. Maybe you'll find sadness. That's okay. It means you're still soft. Maybe you'll find anger. That means you've been hurt. Maybe you'll find silence, and that too is healing. The more you look, the more you realize you're not your pain. You are the one watching the pain. You're not your thoughts. You're the space in which thoughts appear and disappear. And in that space, love can grow again. Mindfulness is not about fixing yourself. It's about seeing yourself clearly. And in that clarity, the heart softens. The self-judgment weakens. The natural kindness within begins to flow again. You don't have to add anything to yourself to be worthy. You only need to remove what is not yours, the shame, the guilt, the old voices of unworthiness. The mirror shows a tired face, but also gentle eyes. It shows fear, but also hope. Every time you return to the present moment and watch your breath, you are saying, "I matter." Every time you observe your emotions, instead of pushing them away, you are saying, "I deserve to be seen." And slowly, the wall between you and yourself begins to fall. Mindfulness also teaches patience. Some days, you will see yourself clearly and feel peace. Other days, you will see your restlessness, your resistance. That is okay. Do not judge that either. This path is not a straight road. It is a gentle spiral. You will come back to the same places again and again, but each time with more awareness. The Zen master once asked a student, "If you cannot be your own friend, how will you know the meaning of love?" Learning to see yourself with kindness is not selfish. It is sacred, because when you truly see yourself, you begin to see others too, with the same softness, the same compassion, and that changes everything. So sit, breathe, watch. Let your thoughts rise and fall like waves. And keep looking into that mirror, not to fix yourself, but to finally meet yourself. And when you do, you may be surprised by what you see. Not someone who is broken, but someone who is healing. Not someone who is weak, but someone who has survived. Not someone who is unworthy, but someone who has been waiting to be loved by you. And that, dear listener, is the beginning of real transformation. Not from the outside, but from within. Just see, just breathe, just be. That is enough. That is more than enough. And that is where love returns. Come, sit. Let me tell you a truth as old as the wind that moves the trees. You suffer, not because of who you are, but because of who you think you should be. Every day, you look around, and your heart tightens. You see others laughing more, living louder, succeeding faster. And you wonder quietly, why not me? Your mind begins to whisper, you're behind. You're not enough. You need to be like them. This is the wound of comparison. It doesn't bleed like a cut, but it drains your spirit drop by drop, like a cup with a slow leak. It empties your joy without you even noticing. Let me ask you, when you scroll through pictures of perfect lives, perfect faces, perfect bodies, do you feel peace? Or do you feel smaller, less worthy, more tired? Comparison is not your fault. is the habit of a restless mind. It is the training of a world that says, better is always somewhere else. But in the way of Buddha, we learn something different. We learn that true peace doesn't come from being above or below anyone. It comes from stepping outside the game completely. Not higher, not lower, just free. Look at the lotus. It does not compare its bloom to the lotus beside it. It simply opens when the time is right. It drinks the sunlight. It lives fully in its own season. Why can't we do the same? When you compare, you forget your own path. You try to walk with someone else's feet, in someone else's shoes, on someone else's road. Of course it feels painful. You were never meant to walk that way. And then there is judgment. Judging others. Judging yourself. Both are like stones in your pocket. They slow you down. You think they help you stay in control. But really, they keep you stuck. You say to yourself, I should have done better. I should be thinner, richer, smarter, calmer. But who decided these shoulds? Who wrote these rules? Not you. Not your heart. Not your soul. In Buddhism, there's a simple word, metta. It means loving kindness. Not just for others, but for yourself. Most of all, you heal when you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold. You heal when you allow yourself to be a human. Not a project, not a product. Just human. Your scars, your delays, your quiet days, they are part of your story. Not mistakes, not failures, but pages. Do you know why the Buddha smiled? Not because he reached perfection, but because he let go of comparison. He stopped the inner war. He simply sat with what was, as it was. And that was enough. Now listen closely. The one you envy may be envying you. The one you judge may be carrying pain you can't see. And the one you think is ahead may not even know where they're going. This life is not a race. It is a walk through a garden. Some trees bloom in spring, some in winter, and some are still growing underground, unseen but alive. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply blooming in your time. Let go of the voice that says compare. Let go of the voice that says judge. Breathe. The present moment is not asking you to be better. It is only asking you to be here. Fully, gently, kindly. Do this. Next time you look at someone who seems more than you, say silently, may you be happy. Then say to yourself, and may I be happy too. No fight, no war, just peace. The heart that can wish well for others without shrinking itself. That is a free heart. That is a healed heart. Remember, healing is not a big event. It is 1,000 small choices to stop hurting yourself. One of those choices is to no longer measure your worth by someone else's shadow. You are not a copy. You are not a reflection. You are a light, quiet, unique, and whole. The mountain does not look at the river and wish to flow. The river does not look at the mountain and wish to rise. Each plays its part in the beauty of the world. So now, let yourself be you. Not better, not best, just true. That is the path back to love. And I, your old friend, the Zen Master, I'm just here to remind you of what you already know deep inside. You are not broken. You are becoming. And that is more than enough. Let's continue walking this path, step by step, breath by breath, with kindness, with courage, with love, loving the present version of you. Dear friend, listen carefully. The one you are right now, this very moment, is enough, truly enough. So often, people look at themselves with a harsh eye, wishing to be someone else, somewhere else, some different version of themselves. But this chasing after better blinds you from the truth that your present self deserves love and kindness. In the teachings of the Buddha, there is a clear message. Everything changes, everything flows, but love can be steady. Your mind may wander to past regrets or future worries, but this moment is all you truly have. If you cannot love the self that sits with you right now, how will you ever find peace? Many carry heavy burdens, mistakes made long ago, words spoken in anger, times when they felt weak or afraid. You carry these memories like stones in your pocket. But imagine if you set down those stones one by one. The load would feel lighter. The path ahead, easier. You're not your past. You are not your mistakes. The Buddha taught that clinging to the past causes suffering. When you learn to release those attachments, your heart opens to the present. And in this present, You can meet yourself with gentle eyes. Think of a flower blooming. It does not try to be a rose or a tulip. It simply blooms as itself. So too must you allow yourself to bloom, just as you are. No forcing, no pretending. Pure presence. Many think they must change themselves completely to be worthy. This is a misunderstanding. Change can come, yes, but it begins with acceptance. Accept the present self fully, the strengths, the flaws, the doubts, and the dreams. In Buddhist practice, loving-kindness meditation, called metta, is a way to cultivate love for oneself and others. It starts simply by silently repeating kind wishes. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. When these words touch your heart, they soften the edges of self-criticism. Try this now. Close your eyes for a moment and say quietly to yourself, I am here. I am enough. It may feel strange at first. Perhaps your mind protests. But return to it again and again. Each time, the words will become warmer, more real. There is no rush in this process. The Zen way teaches patience. Patience with the self, patience with the journey. Loving the present self is like watering a small seed. It needs time, sunlight, and care to grow. If harsh thoughts arise, do not fight them. Observe them as clouds passing in the sky. They come and go. You do not have to follow them. Instead, bring your attention back to the steady light of self-compassion. Remember, the present you has survived every challenge so far. You have breathed through storms of pain, moments of loneliness, and times of confusion. You are still here. This resilience itself is worthy of respect. Often, people wait for the right time to love themselves. Maybe after success, after healing, after fixing all flaws. But the Buddha shows us that this moment, imperfect, messy, real, is the perfect moment. What if you treated yourself as you would treat a dear friend who is hurting? Would you scold them? Or offer warmth and understanding? Yourself deserves the same tenderness. When you look in the mirror, try to see the person behind the reflection, the one who laughs, who cries, who tries their best every day. That person is you. That person is deserving of love. The mind is like water. When it is restless, it is hard to see clearly. But when it settles, the reflection appears true. Meditation can help calm the mind, revealing your true self beyond doubts and fears. One step in loving the present self is forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength. It frees you from chains you did not choose. Release the blame, the guilt, and open space for healing. This healing is not a race. Sometimes you may feel closer to love, other times further away. Both are part of the path. The Zen master does not judge progress, but welcomes each moment as it comes. Ask yourself gently, what do I need right now? What kind words can I offer myself today? Even small acts, a kind thought, a deep breath, a moment of rest, are steps toward love. The Buddha's teaching of impermanence reminds us that all feelings pass. The pain of self-doubt will not last forever. Loving yourself in the present is a way to soften suffering and open the door to peace. When you accept your present self, you also become free to grow naturally, without harsh pressure. Like a tree growing toward the sun, your true nature unfolds in its own time. Remember that every person you meet is also struggling to love themselves. By loving your present self, you create a well of compassion that can flow outward to others. The present self may not have all the answers or the perfect path. That is okay. The Zen way teaches embracing uncertainty with curiosity and openness. Take a moment each day to pause and breathe with awareness. Feel your body, your heart, your breath. This simple act connects you to the life within, the life worth loving. Do not wait for external approval or change. The true source of love is within you in this very moment. Trust in the wisdom of your own heart. It knows what you need to heal and grow. Loving the present self is the foundation for a peaceful and joyful life. It is a gift you give yourself again and again. So, friend, start where you are. Speak gently to yourself. Breathe deeply. Walk with patience and kindness. You are enough now. You have always been enough. The journey continues, one loving step at a time. Sit with me for a while. Breathe gently. Listen not with your ears, but with your heart. Today I will speak of something soft and yet very heavy. Something that you carry every day without realizing it. I will speak of the stories you tell yourself. The old stories. The ones that hurt you. The ones that are no longer true, but still live in your mind like ghosts. You see, we humans do not only remember our past, we relive it. Again and again, we carry memories like sharp stones in our pockets. Some are from childhood, some from yesterday, and some from people who left. These stories say, you are not enough. You always fail. You will never be loved. But tell me, who wrote these words? And more importantly, why do you still believe them? A long time ago, I met a woman who always looked down when she spoke. She said, "Master, I cannot look into people's eyes. I feel small." I asked her, "Who told you that you are small?" She was quiet for a moment. Then tears filled her eyes. "My father did," she whispered, "when I was just a girl." You see, one sentence, one moment, it became a story, and that story became her prison. Most of us are trapped not by chains, but by our own thoughts. We replay moments like broken music. We hear the voice of the teacher who laughed at us, the friend who betrayed us, the lover who left without a word. We start telling ourselves the same things they once said, even when they're long gone. Strange, isn't it? We become our own enemy, using borrowed words. But Buddhism teaches us something beautiful. It says, everything changes. Nothing is permanent, not pain, not the past, not even the stories we hold so tightly. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago, not even the same as yesterday. The cells in your body have changed. The thoughts in your mind have shifted. So why are you still wearing clothes that no longer fit? There's a Japanese art called kintsugi. When a bowl breaks, it is not thrown away. Instead, it is repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden. They are highlighted, because they are part of the story, not the end of it. In the same way, your pain is not shameful. Your wounds do not make you weak. They are part of your journey, but you do not need to keep licking the wound to prove it exists. You can stop. You can let go. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means choosing not to suffer again for something that is no longer happening. Let me say that again. It is not happening now. What hurts you most is not the memory. It is the habit of clinging to it. Think of your mind like a garden. Old stories are like weeds. Some of them grew because someone else planted them. Some grew because you forgot to take care of the soil. But every day is a new chance to pull one weed out, to plant something kind instead. You may ask, but how do I do that, Master? The way is simple, but not easy. First, become aware of the story. Notice when it arises. Maybe it comes when you look in the mirror, or when you fail at something, or when you sit alone in silence. Catch it. Hear the words. Don't fight them. Just see them. Second, ask gently, is this true? Not did it happen, but is it true now? And then ask, even if it was once true, do I want to carry it today? Third, speak a new story. Not a loud or proud one. Just a soft whisper of truth. Something like, I am learning, or I am healing, or even just, I am here, and that is enough. You don't need to believe these new words right away. It is like planting seeds. At first, they look like nothing, but if you water them daily with kindness and patience, something grows. Let me tell you this. There is no one on earth who has not suffered. Not one. Even the Buddha himself faced betrayal, pain, and misunderstanding. But he did not cling. He let each moment pass like a cloud. That is what made him free. You could be free too, but you must loosen your grip on the past. You must stop telling yourself stories that were never yours to begin with. Here is a truth you may have never heard. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are allowed to say, that may have been my beginning, but is not my ending. You are allowed to love yourself not because others did, but because you now choose to. In choosing to love yourself begins with releasing these old words that no longer serve you. If someone told you once that you are unworthy, you do not have to repeat it. If someone abandoned you, that is their story, not your value. If you made mistakes, Welcome to the human race. Learn to move on. There's a silence inside you deeper than your thoughts. When you sit still, you can hear it. That silence does not judge you. That silence is who you really are, beyond every label and every wound. You're not broken. You're just buried, under pain, under memory, under fear. But the true you, the you that is made of peace and light, is still there. Always was. Always will be. So today, as you hear my words, ask yourself, what story am I ready to let go of? And then, do not answer with your mouth. Answer with your heart, with your breath, with a quiet promise to yourself. I will no longer be my own enemy. One step, one thought, one moment at a time. Let the old stories fall away. You do not need them anymore. The real story begins now. My dear one, tell me, why do you run from your own company? When the world grows silent and there are no messages, no noise, no voices, do you feel calm or do you feel lonely? You see, most people believe being alone is a sign of emptiness. But I tell you, it is in stillness that the heart begins to bloom. You don't have to be surrounded by people to feel alive. You don't have to be seen by others to feel worthy. What you truly need is to sit with yourself and not feel afraid. Solitude is not a punishment. It is not something we should avoid. It is a mirror, a very quiet one, that shows us what's really inside. And when you learn to sit with your own heart without needing distractions, a strange thing happens. You start to feel whole again. In the teachings of the Buddha, we often hear about silence. Why? Because silence is not empty. It is full of answers. It is full of clarity. When a mind is quiet, it reveals what truly matters. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice this breath. No one else can breathe for you. No one else can carry the weight inside your chest. Only you can. In today's world, we chase connection so much that we forget the most important one, the connection with ourselves. We scroll through pictures, listen to voices, watch lives that are not ours. And slowly, we drift further away from our own soul. But joy is not found in noise. Real joy is peaceful. It is the joy of watching the wind move the trees. The joy of a morning cup of tea with no rush. The joy of sitting on the floor and just breathing. These joys do not depend on anyone. They are waiting quietly for you within you. Now, you may ask, but how can I enjoy my own company? I feel restless. I feel bored. That's because you've forgotten how to be. You've been taught only how to do, how to work, perform, please others. But no one taught you how to sit still, how to smile with yourself. Let's relearn that. Start by doing something small every day, just for you. Not to achieve anything, not to impress anyone, simply to be with your own presence. Maybe it's walking barefoot on grass. Maybe it's listening to the sound of rain. Maybe it's writing a few words in a notebook, even if no one will ever read them. You do not need to be productive in solitude. You just need to be present. When you sit in stillness and don't try to fix anything, you begin to see the quiet beauty of your own soul. The scars, the laughter, the tears, the dreams, they all sit with you like old friends. And in their presence, healing happens. Sometimes people say, but I feel lonely. Loneliness is different from solitude. Loneliness is the hunger for someone else. Solitude is the discovery that you are already enough. The Buddha often walked alone. He sat beneath the Bodhi tree in deep silence, not because he disliked people, but because he wanted to meet the deepest truth inside. And in that silence, he found awakening. You too can find a deeper version of yourself, not in the crowds, but in the calm. When the outside world is turned off, your inner world turns on. Let your phone sleep. Let the TV stay quiet. Sit by your window. Listen, not to the world, but to the small voice within you, the one you've ignored for too long. It will speak softly. It will remind you of what you love. It will whisper old, forgotten dreams. It will ask you gently, will you come back to me now? And when you begin to enjoy your own company, you stop begging for love from others. You stop chasing approval. You stop feeling like something is missing, because you realize you are never broken. You are just never still long enough to see how complete you already are. One day, you will sit in silence and smile, Not because something amazing happened, but because nothing is wrong. No pain, no rush, no noise. Just you in your breath. That is peace. That is joy. Do not wait for others to make you feel special. Become the one who makes your own heart feel safe. Speak gently to yourself. Cook your own food with care. Walk slowly. Smile often, even if no one is watching. These little acts, done in solitude, are love. Real love. And remember this, joy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's the quiet space between two thoughts. Sometimes it's just the feeling of, I am here, and that is enough. So don't fear being alone. Embrace it. Make it your temple. In solitude, you meet your truest friend, yourself. And that, my dear one, is the most beautiful reunion of all. Let the world spin fast. Let others chase. You just sit, just breathe, just be. You are not missing anything. You are discovering everything. Becoming your own refuge in difficult times. When a storm comes, where do you go? Some people run to others. Some look for escape in food, in noise, in busy hands, in endless scrolling on a glowing screen. Some people hide. Some people cry. Some people go silent. But today, I will tell you something most people forget. You can be your own refuge. Yes, you. Not the stronger version of you. Not the healed version. Not the someday perfect you. But this you. Today's you with all your cracks, questions, and quiet tears. Buddhism teaches us, Atta Hayatanonatho. It means you're your own protector. No one can truly carry your suffering for you. No one can walk inside your mind and remove the pain. But you, yes, you can learn to hold yourself like a mother holds a crying child. Let me explain. When you feel heavy inside, when no one understands, when a world feels too loud, when people hurt you again and again, don't run outward. Come inward. Close your eyes. Place your hands on your chest. And just sit. Breathe slowly. In, out. Say gently, I am here for me. Just that. Nothing more. You don't have to fix anything right now. You don't have to feel better immediately. You only have to be present. This is the beginning of refuge. You see, the mind runs wild during tough times. It says, why me? This isn't fair. I can't take it anymore. But the mind is not the enemy. It's just scared. It's loud because it wants safety. And safety doesn't come from running. It comes from returning. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to your calm. Like the Buddha said, in this very body, 6 feet long, lies the world. It means all that you need, peace, strength, wisdom, is already within you. You just forgot. You were busy chasing love in far places, in hard people, in cold memories. But you can stop now. You can come back to yourself. Because when you come home to your own heart, no storm can throw you off for too long. Think of a tree in a hurricane. The branches shake, the leaves fly, but the roots, they stay deep in the earth. If your roots are strong inside, nothing can break you. And how do you grow those roots? By spending time with yourself. Not just when you are happy, but especially when you are sad. By listening to your thoughts without judgment. By giving yourself permission to cry. By holding your own hand when no one else does. When a friend is hurting, we speak softly. We sit beside them. We don't rush them. Can you do that for yourself? That is self-love, not bubble baths or buying things, but staying when everything in you wants to run. Remember, even the Buddha suffered. He lost loved ones. He walked through hunger. He sat alone under the Bodhi tree, facing every fear. And yet, he didn't look for a savior. He looked inside. He found a lamp within, and he said, be a lamp unto yourself. When things fall apart, you could be that lamp. Not to light up the whole world, just enough to see the next step. One breath, one moment, one act of kindness toward yourself. When someone hurts you, yes, it aches. But don't let their unkindness become your voice. Don't turn their cruelty into your inner dialogue. That is like swallowing poison someone else made. Instead, speak to yourself gently. Say, this pain is real, but I'm still here. I will not abandon me. The world may reject you, but you must not reject yourself. Not now. Not ever. You are not weak for needing peace. You are not broken because you hurt. You are simply human, like every other being who has walked this earth. And Buddhism teaches that all beings have Buddha nature, even you. That means your soul is not damaged. It is only covered with dust from long journeys and harsh words. And every time you sit quietly with yourself, you wipe a little of that dust away. You begin to see your light again. Maybe not all at once, but slowly, surely. You don't need someone to rescue you. You need someone to stand with you during the hard times. And that someone can be you. Learn to say, I am here. I am enough. I can carry me. This is the greatest freedom. This is becoming your own refuge. No one can take this from you. Not failure. Not heartbreak. Not time. So next time the storm comes, and it will, don't panic. Don't search wildly for a hand to hold. Place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes and whisper, I've got you. That's all it takes. Because the person you've been waiting for was never far. They've been right here, inside you all along. The blossoming heart, living from self-love daily. Come, sit with me under this quiet sky. You've walked a long way. Through pain, through silence, through forgetting and remembering. Now, we have reached the last part of the journey. But it is not the end. No, it is the beginning. The beginning of a new way to live. A new way to breathe. A new way to love yourself. Do you feel something in your chest? A soft warmth? That's not just the wind or your heartbeat. That is your heart slowly opening again, like a flower in spring after a long winter. This heart of yours, it never stopped trying. Even when you were tired. Even when you said harsh things to yourself. Even when you gave up on you. But now you know, you're not your doubts. You're not your past. You are not the voice in your mind that says, I'm not enough. That voice is only a shadow. But you are light. Self-love is not something loud. It is not shouting, I love myself in the mirror. It is quiet, like watering a plant daily. It is in brushing your hair gently, eating slowly, resting when tired, forgiving your own mistakes. It is saying, I'm here for me, again and again, until the wounds start to heal. You see, in Zen, we do not add more to life. We take away what's not needed. We remove the layers that cover the truth. And the truth is simple. You are already worthy, already whole, already beautiful. When you live from this love, something changes. You don't try to be better than others. You don't beg for love anymore. You walk into rooms quietly, and you feel a home inside your own skin. There is no rush now, no chasing. You understand that peace is not found outside. It is something you carry in your breath, in your steps, and how you treat yourself when no one is watching. You may still fall. That's okay. Even a monk falls in his thoughts sometimes. But now you know how to rise gently. Not with force, not with guilt, but with kindness. Let me tell you a small Zen story. A student once asked his master, how do I become wise? The master smiled and said, each time you fall, you stand up. The student asked, that's it? The master replied, yes, but each time, stand up with love. So today, I ask you, will you stand up with love for yourself? Will you wake up tomorrow and treat yourself like someone who matters? Not because someone else told you, but because now you believe it. You've learned to listen to yourself, to understand your thoughts, to befriend your silence. You've let go of anger toward yourself, and slowly, you've welcomed peace back in. This is the blossoming heart. It is soft but not weak. It is open but not foolish. It knows how to give and also how to protect. It doesn't need permission to love itself. It just does. Like a river flows. When you love yourself, you don't become selfish. You become kind. You smile more. You carry light into dark places. And the world begins to feel safe again. Not because it has changed, but because you have. So now, carry this love with you. Wear it in your eyes. Let it guide your hands. Let it soften your words. When pain comes again, and it will, sit with it like an old friend. Don't push it away. Don't run. Just say, even now I choose love. You're no longer lost. You are home, in your own heart. Thank you for walking this path. Thank you for returning to yourself. And if this journey has touched your soul in even the smallest way, we ask you now, from our heart, there's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Wisdom Woven. Your one small action can help us spread more healing. Help one more person find their light. Maybe someone just like you, who is waiting to hear this. Now go, live your life with love. And when you forget again, come back here. I'll be waiting. The inner child, embracing the forgotten you. Come, sit down. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in and breathe out. Let all the noise settle. Let the rush pause. Now, gently ask yourself, when was the last time you truly saw the little child inside you? Yes, there's a child in you, still alive, still waiting. Not just in memory, but in your heart. That child is the part of you that once laughed without fear, cried without shame, dreamed without limits. That child is not gone, just forgotten. In our world, we are taught to grow up fast. Be strong, be responsible, be quiet, be successful. But no one told us how to keep our hearts soft. No one taught us how to protect that little being inside. And slowly we forget them. But the child never forgets you. It watches you when you're too hard on yourself. It cries when you call yourself names. It hides when you push your emotions down. You might feel tired now, tired not because of work or life, but because you've carried pain that was never healed. The child within you remembers the first time it felt unwanted, the first time someone laughed at its dream, the first time love was taken away for being too much or not enough. And that child is still waiting for your hug. In Zen, we don't run from pain, we sit with it. And the same is true for this child. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Hold it. Speak to it like a gentle parent. You might say, but I don't know how. Start simply. Close your eyes. Imagine your younger self standing before you. Maybe 5 years old, maybe 10. Look into their eyes. What do you see? Sadness? Fear? Or just longing? Now say to them, I'm here now. I see you. I won't leave you again. It may sound strange, but something inside you will shift. This is not fantasy. This is healing. This child is the key to your lost joy. They're the part of you that still knows how to wonder, still wants to dance, still hopes. And they're also the one who took the wounds when you couldn't. Sometimes when you overreact, it's not you reacting. It's your inner child feeling unsafe. Sometimes when you feel unloved, it's not the world being cruel. It's your child inside, asking, do I matter? You do matter. And the child in you, they matter too. What they never got from others, you can now give. That is the path of self-love. To become the parent you never had. To become the friend you always needed. There's no need to blame your past. Parents were wounded too. Teachers, friends, even strangers, they didn't know better. But you are waking up now. You are learning to listen, to nurture, to be kind. In Buddhism, we say every moment is a chance to begin again. So it's never too late to begin this relationship with your inner child. Talk to them every day, not with grand words, but with presence. Eat something simple. Say, this is for you, little one. See a flower? Say, look, isn't it beautiful? Feel overwhelmed? Whisper, it's okay. I'm here. These small acts are sacred. They reconnect you to your softness. And it's from this softness that real strength grows. Don't be afraid to cry. Sometimes tears are the voice of a child being heard again. Sometimes laughter is the child feeling safe enough to play again. This is not weakness. This is becoming whole. You might ask, how do I know I'm healing? You'll notice you stop punishing yourself for small things. You start resting without guilt. You speak kindly inside your own mind. You forgive yourself faster. You stop chasing approval, because the child inside already feels accepted. And one day, when someone hurts you, you won't scream or run. You will just place your hand on your heart and say, I choose to protect my peace. That's when you know your inner child now lives in a safe home within you. Let this be your practice, not just once, but every day. Speak gently, breathe slowly. When fear arises, hold it like a trembling child. When joy appears, dance like no one is watching. We are not here to fix the past. We are here to love it. All the versions of you, young, scared, excited, confused, they're all worthy of love. And you're the only one who can give it fully. The world may not always understand. That's okay. The child inside you doesn't need the whole world to understand. They just need you. So as you walk forward, don't forget the little feet that once stood where you now stand. Take them with you, hand in hand. Let them laugh again. Let them hope again. Let them trust again. And whenever you forget, whenever you fall into self-doubt or harsh thoughts, just pause. Close your eyes and whisper, I remember you. I'm here. I love you. And that child will smile.